Hi, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Nick Cosgrove, and I am back with my coaching reality series called From a Coach's Perspective. Today, I want to talk about the 5 truths about haters that nobody wants to admit. Now, if you look at my YouTube subscribers, my Instagram followers, my Facebook followers, I'm not a social media influencer by any means. All right. I don't want to be a social media influencer. My job as a trainer slash coach is to educate people, provide fitness content on dietary nutrition, training programs, supplement protocols, and just to help educate those who maybe can't afford to work with a trainer, or maybe someone who is looking to work with a trainer either in-house or online so I can provide my services. I put out a lot of content on a weekly basis, whether it's on my Instagram posts, my Instagram reels, my YouTube shorts, the no filter Q&A that drops on Mondays, along with the coaching reality series that drop every Wednesday, and my weekly blog that I put up on our website every Friday, right? And I'm not looking for plugins here. I'm saying I put out a lot of content online. Unfortunately, when you put out a lot of content online, you put yourself in somewhat of a vulnerable position as you're going to get haters. You're going to get people who are trolling you. You're going to get people who are attacking you. And you have to have thick skin, okay? If you're going to be in the social media game, you have to have thick skin because there's always going to be people out there that don't like you. All right. And that's a reality. And what I've noticed now that I'm becoming, I don't want to say more popular, but I am getting more followers, more subscribers, I'm getting more eyes on me. I do get some comments here and there that attack me, attack my personality, attack my physique, attack my lifestyle, and that's okay. I don't mind that. I actually leave the comments up. That doesn't bother me. But when you start attacking my personal life, when you start attacking my relationship, my family, I take an issue with that, as I feel like most people would. All right. There's people who I have disagreements with, both online and in person, but I would never take digs at their family. I would never take digs at their children, digs at their husband, their wife, nothing like that. Okay. To me, that's off the table. If you yourself are putting yourself out there, though, everything's on the table. And that's why I leave comments on about me. I never take them off. Obviously, if they're a little bit, if they're using profanity, yeah, they're gone. If there's racism in there, they're gone. Okay. Anything that's sexual, it's gone. But if it's an attack on me, I leave it up. The reason I want to put out this coaching reality episode, though, today is to actually help motivate people who are trying to maybe start their own podcasts or just trying to release more content for their own business. And they're afraid to do so because they're afraid of haters. And I'm going to tell you something about what I've learned dealing with haters is that the more haters you get, the more successful you become because there's more eyes on you, both good and bad. So I've never let it bother me specifically when the attacks are on me, like I said. It's just when the attacks come on my relationship or my family that I take issue with. And those people are blocked. Okay. But I want to go over the 5 truths that a lot of people just don't want to admit when dealing with haters. And I think it kind of helps for those of you who are maybe you're trying to start a business, or maybe you're trying to move your business online, or just get more eyes and you're trying to use social media as a tool, as an asset. I want to give you support here. And I want to say, there's a lot of benefits to social media, but like anything in life, there's bad that comes with the good. And you have to put up with the shit sometimes. And you do have to have thick skin. But just remind yourself that for every hater you get, you also have 10 people that support you easily. All right. I would say that I have more positive comments that come into my DMs, more positive comments on my channels, more positive comments on my posts than I do negative. And I don't focus on the negative ones. I let them roll. And that took time. But if you yourself are starting off in any industry or you're trying to move your business online, I want to support you, and I want to give you some things that I learned along the way that might help you surpass those plateaus and kind of break that barrier and gain the confidence to get yourself out there and promote yourself, promote your services or product, whatever you're trying to promote out there, and help people. Because, like I said, when I put out this content, yeah, I'm hoping people will book with my services for sure, but not everyone does, and that's okay. If I'm providing content to maybe a kid who's like 15, 16 years old who can't afford to work with a trainer, but they're learning something from my training videos or my supplement protocols or my dietary nutritional tips, that's great. Okay, that's great. That's a win for me. So it's not always about monetary value. Okay, so that's not the only important thing when you're trying to put yourself out there, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm going to list off these 5 things. I'm going to keep them as short as I can. As those of you know, I try to keep the coaching reality episodes to under 20 minutes. I know sometimes I ramble, so I will try to keep it low or slow or short, but bear with me here because there's a few things I want to list off. All right. So the number one truth about haters that nobody wants to admit, not everyone will like you. I just mentioned that. I have a lot of people that don't like me. I have a lot of people in real life that don't like me, and I have a lot of people online that don't like me. And when I was younger, I was trying to get everyone to like me. And I always thought there was a problem with me if people didn't like me. But if I know I'm doing everything I can, I'm treating people with respect. I'm being nice to people, I'm being helpful to people, and they're still not giving me back that same type of respect. There's nothing I can do. Some people are just miserable, right? And there's a lot of people out there who are going to hate you. And I believe the reason they hate you is because your enthusiasm, your soul just irritates their demons. All right. So when they see you out there and you're being ambitious and you're in a positive mood and you're trying to help people and you're trying to uplift people and you're trying to really if you're running a business, you're trying to promote your services, your product, that irritates them because they themselves can't do that. And because of that, they don't like you for no other reason. All right. And when I think of that, and when I think, like, well, what am I doing wrong here? You know, if I'm attacking this person personally, I understand why they don't like me. But if I haven't done anything to this person or people who don't like me, I know it's not a me problem. I know it's their problem. And there's a lot of people out there with jealousy and envy, and they'll try to tear you down. So just remember, if you are putting yourself out there online, the people that hate you, because there's always going to be people that hate you. There always will. There's going to come a point where you have a negative comment your way. And how you handle it will really depend on your personality type and whether or not you have thick skin. And I can tell you right now, from someone who's been doing the social media component for the better part of the last 10 years, it took me some time to let those comments roll. But now, now I don't care at all. I just block the people. I care less. All right. So just remember, not everyone's going to like you, but it's not necessarily a you problem. Now, if it is a you problem, if you know it's like, yeah, I'm not the nicest to people, or I put people down, well, you might need to work on yourself. But like I said, if you are being someone who is very positive, very uplifting, trying to motivate other people, it's not a you problem, it's a them problem. All right. The second truth about haters that nobody wants to admit. Some people want you to fail. Absolutely. There's people that want you to fail in your business. There's people that want you to fail in your relationship. There's people that want you to fail in life. And again, that comes down to those that can't do, put others down. For sure. Absolutely. There are tons of trainers I've worked with along the years who I know for a fact wish ill will on me. When I had my appendix taken out back in, oh God, no, sorry, it was my no, it was my appendix. It was actually when I had the seizure. So when I had the seizure back in 20, I think it was 2021, I was out of the gym for 2 or 3 days, and I was getting some CT scans done, I was getting MRI done, and I had a competitor actually reach out to one of my clients saying, Nick might not be doing too well right now. If you're looking to work with a coach while he's out, I'm happy to work with you. Unbeknownst to me, this trainer never reached out to me, but he reached out directly to my client. Now, I posted this text message between my client and the trainer online. I blocked both their names out of respect for privacy. Well, actually, I didn't block my client's name. She was fine with it, but I blocked the trainer's name. And, it was, to me, it was kind of funny. I didn't even message the client. I was like, or the trainer. It didn't bother me. It just made me funny. I'm like, how sad is that, that you're preying on my downfall? Because I was out of the gym for a few days after my seizure. And I was getting results done on my brain. I didn't know what was going on. And because of that, I had to take a few days off from the gym. I had a pretty nasty fall. I had a grand mal seizure back in 2021, for those that don't know. And that trainer had been reaching out, not just that one client, but a few of my clients through social media, through text messages, so they had their number, but it was primarily through Instagram and through Facebook. So I reached out to about 4 or 5 of my clients. So again, it's funny because this was someone who I had worked alongside for years on the floor, who I had respect for, but I also knew that person didn't really like me. And you know what? They wanted me to fail. They didn't want me to come back. And if anything, that made me stronger. That made me want to come back even harder. That made me want to come back faster and even provide a better service to surpass them. Okay. Fast forward now 5 years, that person is no longer a trainer. So it goes to show you can't let what other people, their wishes on you, if they want you to fail in life or anything bad about you, just roll with it. That's what I do. Just roll with it because I'm like, all right, well, that's on you. That's a you problem. My clients have been loyal to me for years. I wasn't worried that my clients were going to leave me for this trainer. I mean, obviously, if I had died, they might have to leave me for another trainer, but I didn't plan on dying. I plan on sticking around. So, I have very supportive and loyal clients who were with me during that time. And if anything, they just said, well, she sent me the screenshot, and I had heard from other clients too through the grapevine that this person was trying to poach my clients while I was out. So they wanted me to fail. And I don't know. I was okay with that because I didn't fail, and it just gave me a little bit more motivation to get back into the gym earlier than I was supposed to come back and train my clients and keep the business running. Okay. So remember that there's going to always be people out there who want you to fail. All right. The third truth about haters that nobody wants to admit. Success attracts criticism. The more successful you become, the more criticism you get. I don't think of myself as a super successful person. I truly don't. But when I purchased my penthouse, I was very careful not to just start posting a bunch of videos and look at me, look at my penthouse, all these things. If anything, I'm like, no, no, I bought a decent penthouse. It's nice. It's about 1,600 square feet, decent size for me. And I have a nice rooftop, and I worked hard for this. And it wasn't to show off. If anything, it was more just to like, hey, you know what? If you work hard, you can really achieve your goals. And my goal was to always own a penthouse. I always wanted a penthouse since the time I was probably 19 years old. I was like, one day I'm going to get a penthouse in downtown Vancouver. And when I achieved that goal, and I got a lot of hate. I did. I got some hate on Instagram. Why are you posting this? Why are you showing off? I'm like, well, I'm not showing off. I'm proud of what I've achieved. And I have got people on my Instagram when they achieve anything in life, whether they get a promotion, they get a new car, get a new house. I always like it. I always congratulate them. I'm like, that's great. That's awesome. They're not showing off. They're showing their achievements. There's a difference between showing off and showing if you work hard, you can achieve something. It's the same thing for people who achieve results with their bodies. I always like photos when I see transformation photos. I saw a woman on my Instagram today who lost like 100 pounds. I'm like, that's incredible. Good for you. She's not showing off. Like this woman went from like, I don't know how much she weighed, but easily lost 100 pounds. Let's say she was like maybe 270 pounds, easily 170, maybe even 150 now. The transformation is incredible. So I don't think that's showing off. I think that's showing that hard work and discipline can get you where you want to be in life. And so when I post those videos of the rooftop or hailing on the decks, it's not to show off. It's more just I'm proud of what I've achieved. And by no means do I think I'm at the top of the level because I train people who, my God, they're much more successful than I am. And again, the people who are usually the most successful are the people that don't need to talk about it. Okay. They don't need to brag about it. They're people that you don't really know. And there's a lot of things in my life that I actually think is more successful than buying the penthouse that I've achieved, but I don't put that on Instagram. I don't start bragging about portfolios or money or other real estate. I don't do that because that to me is not important. My goal was to buy a penthouse and I achieved that goal. And someone else's goal might be to lose 50 pounds. Someone else's goal might be to have a family before the age of 35 and have some kids. So whatever your goal is, and then you achieve that, be proud of that goal. And be proud of your achievements. And there's a way to show your achievements without showing off and say, I worked really hard for this. So I am proud of this. Look what I've achieved. Okay. I don't care if I get one like or 1,000 likes. I could care less. I turn off my likes. I don't care about likes. I'm just putting out there to help motivate people and say, if you work hard for something, I truly believe that you can achieve your goals. Okay. But no matter what, you're always going to get criticism from other people. Always. Okay. So just remember that whatever you put out there online, if you're someone who, let's say you're running a business and you just made your quarterly profit of 500K and you want to talk about, hey, I've never made that kind of money in my first quarter of business, talk about it. That's not bragging. People are going to criticize you. People are going to, oh, you don't work that hard for it. You've had things handed to you. I've had nothing handed to me. Nothing. Zero has been handed to me from day one. Okay, I've had no family inheritance, no helping hands. I did it all by myself. And that's okay. I'm proud to say that. Okay. And if you had helping hands, you had a head start, that's okay too. But it's how you take those helping hands and how you apply that to your own. If you're born into money, you use that money to your advantage where you go to school, you get a degree, and you go help other people, you build a business. That's great. If you just take that money and sit on your ass all day, I mean, not judging you, but you're not really contributing much to society, right? So I always think, the more successful you become, the more criticism you're going to get. And if you're getting lots of criticism, you're probably doing something right because you're probably becoming more successful because you're going to get more people hating on you and criticizing you. And it happens quite often. All right. Okay. The fourth truth about haters that nobody wants to admit. The bigger you get, the more oh, sorry. No, I just talked about that. I said that. Sorry. The fourth reason, the fourth truth about haters nobody wants to admit. Most haters disappear when you stop reacting to them. It's true. I mean, you can block people. I've had to block people, or you can just ignore them. But if you engage with them, they love that. They love that. That is like fuel for the fire for those people. And I've noticed like Like, for example, when I first joined Instagram and I was promoting a lot of my business online, there were people out there who would say, no, that's the wrong way to do the exercise. No, your cooking tip is incorrect. Your dietary nutrition tip is incorrect, whatever it was. And I would get into these long drawn out arguments with them online. And it wasn't until I realized, like, what am I doing? How much time am I spending with this person going back and forth? Like, who even is this person? 9 times out of 10, I never even knew who they were. I'm like, oh my God, all the time and effort I'm spending trying to prove my point to someone who I'll never meet in real life, who's never going to work with me. So I'm like, what am I doing? I could be actually now making my next post for people who are supporting me, my next reel for people who are supporting me, right? So making more content for people who do want to learn about dietary nutrition and supplement protocols and training science. So why am I spending so much time focused on this one individual who's trying to tear me down? Right. And so now I don't engage. I'm just like, okay, you can have your opinion, but I'm not going to engage back and forth with you. Now, if it's a client of mine who, whether they agree or disagree, of course I'm going to take the time because I respect the person, they're a client of mine, and I usually know them. Or even if it's not a client of mine, if it's someone I know and someone I respect in the industry, we might have a disagreement, and I'll still take some time because that to me is a good way, a good, healthy debate. There's a lot of trainers out there who I respect. We don't have the same ideology when it comes to certain dietary nutritional tips or training programs or supplement protocols, and that's fine. We can agree to disagree, but we can do it in a respectful manner. So we're not attacking one another. We're not calling each other out. We're not taking digs at the other person's partner or their kids or any of that nonsense. When that happens, you're stooping to a new low. And I never want to be that person that stoops to that level. I always want to stay, never mind professional, but at the same time, just a decent human being. And to me, a decent human being is not going to belittle themselves to bring themselves down to that level to start putting down other people and others in that in their family or their friends, relationships, whatever it may be. Okay. Because as soon as you become that person, in my opinion, there's no coming back. All right. Because you've just become a very negative person. And honestly, there's really, in my opinion, there's no time to be negative. If you have time to be negative, you have too much time on your hands. All right. Life is too short. So if you spend so much time hating on others, get a life. Really. Just get a life. Okay. Everything online, remember, it's online. This is not real life. Real life is out here. This is online. So if people want to say stuff to you behind a screen, very rarely, they're not going to say it to your face. All right. They love to say things behind the screen on a keyboard, but when it comes to, actually saying it to your face, they don't like it. And it's so true. So, there's a lot of people out there like that, and try not to fall victim into that. Try not to fall victim into, getting into these fights with people, because if you were to meet them in the real world, 9 times out of 10, these people try to avoid confrontation at all costs. All right. And the fifth and final truth about haters, nobody wants to admit, is that they increase awareness of your brand. I've had people who have made comments on my YouTube videos in the past. And it's funny because I've had other people comment on those videos protecting me. It's also helping on Instagram too, where I'll have people like make a comment about me, and I'll have someone who's a supporter, whether it's a client or just an online supporter, who will come to my defense, and then that person will chime back in, and that person will chime back in, and all of a sudden you've got this war going on a page of mine. I'm staying out of it, and I like to watch it because it's quite funny to watch when people go back and forth. And as much as I appreciate people, protecting me and supporting me, I don't need that, but I still find it funny. So, but when that happens, it gets more eyes, right? It gets more traffic to your channel. More people are like, well, what's going on with this? Why are so many people commenting on this post or this video? I've had a few videos go viral, not because of the video, but just because people started commenting, both negative and positive. And I truly believe the negative comments actually help get more eyes to my page. So, I appreciate that. So sometimes the criticism helps your brand grow. It gets more eyes on you, both positive and negative. But for every negative comment, you might get 5 positive ones. Right. So it kind of works both ways. So it's not that there's no such thing as bad publicity, because there is bad publicity. I think there is anyway. But it's almost like when you're online and people are attacking you and they're like saying negative things about you. It's almost like people want to go, why are they so upset with this person? I have to see what's going on with this person. It's like trying to drive past a car crash and not look. hopefully nobody's injured, but you're going to look. So it's like, well, what's the big stir up here? Why are so many people commenting on this post? Let me read it. How controversial is it? And I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, the posts aren't even controversial. It's something I may have said that someone doesn't agree with, or maybe they want to take a dig at me that day. That's fine. And I have someone come to my defense, and then I have someone else chime in, and maybe they're going to attack me, but then I have someone else chime in and say, no, you're wrong. Great. That's great because that means more views for me, potentially more subscribers to me, potentially even more clients for me. All right. So I'm not afraid of criticism, and sometimes it helps grow your brand. So just remember that. Okay. Don't think that all criticism is bad. And there's also some constructive criticism too. And, I get that from time to time too, from people who are criticizing me constructively, and I'll take it. I'll like, you're right. Or maybe you're not right, but I'm not going to get all egotistic about it. Oh, you're wrong, and start arguing with them. I'm like, oh, I'm going to take what you say because I respect what you're saying, and you're saying it in a respectful manner. So, and like I say, when I'm posting these videos, there's things when I'm talking about training programs, supplement protocols, dietary nutritional tips that I get wrong. There's things that I've said 5 years ago that now I change my mind on. And I'll admit, what I said 5 years ago, this is what I thought 5 years ago. But now that I've researched this better, I'm more well informed. I'm more experienced with this topic. I have a better understanding, and now I've changed my viewpoint. And I feel it takes someone who doesn't have a big ego to admit when they were wrong and correct us. This is why I think this way now. I was wrong then. This is what I think like today. And I've even told that with clients who worked for me for years, especially on their diet. So yeah, I don't go with that protocol anymore. Now I start adding in this food. And I'll tell you why. I do it for this reason. Back then I did it for this reason. But let's try it for this reason, right? And I never had someone go, oh my God, you wasted my time. No, they're like, okay, yeah, let's try it. Because what it tells them is that I'm constantly educating myself. I'm willing to learn. Even now, at the age of 40, going to be 41 in the next few weeks, I'm still willing to learn. I want to learn. Okay, so I don't know everything. And I always tell my clients that I don't know everything. Okay, if you say you know everything, you're arrogant. Okay, and if you're arrogant, nobody's going to work with an arrogant person. Nobody wants to work with someone who knows everything. Anyway, those are the 5 truths about haters that nobody wants to admit, in my opinion. I wrote those down earlier today because I was thinking about that. Because listen, there are going to be times if you're trying to grow your brand or your business online, or maybe you already have your brand and business online, you're getting fed up because, like me, you get people who troll you and they do take digs at you. And like I said, where I draw the line is when it's an attack on my personal life, my relationship, my family, my friends. That I take that to heart. And I have no time for that. I don't engage with people, just a simple block. If it's on me, I leave it up. Okay. Because I'm putting myself out there. But I always think it's important that if you are someone who's going to be online, that you have to have that thick skin. Because if you don't have that thick skin, you're not going to last. You're going to drive yourself crazy. All right. So I feel the more that you're online, the more comfortable you get with it, but it takes time. And listen, it's not for everyone. I've got some clients who are incredibly successful who no Facebook, no Instagram, no TikTok, no Twitter or X, whatever it's called now, no LinkedIn, nothing. Okay, so you don't need social media to be successful, but it does help depending on the industry you're in. In my industry, it helps immensely, especially the YouTube content people. If they're looking for a trainer online or looking for a coach in-house, it shows that I'm reputable and somewhat knowledgeable. At least I like to think I'm knowledgeable in the area of exercise science and dietary nutrition. Okay, so I feel like for me, I'm going to stay on social media. I have no plans on going off, no matter how much hate I get. And you, as in, if you were trying to start your own business and you're trying to grow it and use social media as an asset, you should be doing the same. Don't let these people derail you. All right. Don't let haters derail you. If they take personal shots at your family, your loved ones, your relationship, block them. Okay. But if they're taking shots at you, let it roll. Because I'm telling you what, the more criticism you get, like I said, you're doing something good. All right. So you're growing. If nobody's criticizing you, that means nobody's watching you. So at least somebody's watching you, right? And if it's the critiques, that will bring the supporters. 100%. Anyway, that's it for this week's Coaching Reality episode. This episode will be going up on Wednesday, August the 19th. As a reminder, if you have any questions related to your nutritional plan, workout program, supplements you are currently taking, not taking, or considering taking, please feel free to email me at nick@foreverfitperformance.com, or you can DM me on my Instagram at @fitcosgrove_. I want to thank you all for supporting my YouTube channel. I want to thank you for supporting my online coaching business, as well as my in-house personal training business here in Vancouver, British Columbia. If you haven't already checked out the No Filter Q&A, it dropped earlier this week on Monday, so check that out along with this week's Coaching Reality. Please like and subscribe to the channel. I truly do appreciate the support and the feedback. even the criticism that I receive from each and every single one of you. Anyway, thank you all again, and I will see you all next week. Bye for now.